Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. Welcome back to Top Chair Sports. It's Monday. I'm Spencer. I'm wearing a Cardinals shirt, so that means we've got to be talking about bowling. No, wait, baseball. So just a couple of house cleaning, both, I guess. Joe Maddon was hired by the Angels. I didn't discuss it yet because I really wanted to just focus on the playoffs, but because we're just in the World Series and that's all we'll really be talking about today, I figured I could go over a couple of these things. So yeah, Maddon goes back to the Angels. It's where I believe he started his career. A lot of people think Joe Maddon's a great manager. I'm not sold on him. However, he does have a lot of experience. He did take the Cubs to the World Series. He took the Rays to the World Series. I don't know how much of it was him or it was the talent that was on the team. We're going to see because the Angels aren't a super talented team outside of Mike Trout. If he can take them to the playoffs, hell, to a World Series, I'll buy it. Joe Maddon's a great manager. Joe Girardi, who I think is a really good manager, who has been out of a job. He's been unemployed for a little bit. Right there with you, Joe. Joe Girardi, he goes to the Phillies. I'm really excited for the Phillies here. I think he's a great manager. I really hope that the Phillies don't use him as a scapegoat like they did Gabe Kapler. I was a fan of Kapler. Thought he had a great mind. Thought he was a really smart baseball mind, to reiterate. But they fired him. He was the scapegoat in my opinion because that team wasn't as talented as it should have been. I think he did the best he could. Joe Girardi, he's seasoned. Spent all those years with the Yankees. Has a really good track record. But again, he was managing a super talented team in the Yankees. And David Ross, he is now the manager of the Cubs. So they fill their vacancy left by Joe Maddon with David Ross. This is confusing because Ross is a really good people person, it seems. He really gets the players. Players really respect him when he was a veteran player. I'm just a little worried about how he's going to be as an actual manager when he has to put his foot down in certain situations, stuff like that. Could be interesting though, and I'm a fan of seeing guys who have recently retired come back and manage, so good luck to David Ross. All right, so now on to the World Series. Holy crap, it has been a good one. I hope you've been watching it. If not, now's a good time to start. So the series opens up in Houston, and we've got two great pitching matchups in Houston in games 1 and 2. We've got Garrett Cole against Max Scherzer in game 1, two guys who are gunning for the Cy Young. Then we've got Justin Verlander and Steven Strasburg, a guy gunning for a Cy Young, and a guy who really wishes he could gun for a Cy Young. I mean, these are four really, really good pitchers. Nothing should be taken away from Strasburg, and especially the way he has pitched this postseason. These guys are all in the same playing field, in my opinion. Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander have been absolutely nasty for the Astros, but the Nationals do not give a shit. They come out and they win both games. So they win game 1, 5-4. It comes down to the end. Houston battles back, but Juan Soto in the end is the hero there for them, I would say. He had a great home run off of Garrett Cole, high fastball and everything, and he just took it. And Garrett Cole's a really good high fastball pitcher if you didn't know that. Garrett Cole doesn't lose many games. So this was stunning, to say the least, and it happened in Houston. That's huge. They then get to Verlander and co. by winning 12-3. Now, Strasburg and Scherzer weren't perfect in these games, but they did enough, and the Nationals offense capitalized in key parts. So they have a huge offensive onslaught. They're up 2-0 going back to DC. All things looking good for the Nationals. Now for the Astros, they hold a team meeting after game 2. Obviously going down 2-0 in your own ballpark, not a good look. Shout out to the Cardinals. I wish they would have had a team meeting because whatever was said in that team meeting worked for the Astros. So they come out game 3. It's Zach Greinke against Anibal Sanchez. Zach Greinke, a Cy Young caliber pitcher, and Anibal Sanchez, trinket. So Greinke comes out, he pitches exactly how the Astros need him to, really silences the Nationals' bats. They go on to win 4-1, offense capped by a Robinson Chirinos home run. Great. Houston gets a win. They need to win 2 in DC. So game 4, we've got Patrick Corbin for the Nationals against Jose Urquidy for the Astros. Now, this is his first start in the postseason. There was a lot of speculation that he was going to be like the Game 4 guy for them in the ALCS and the World Series if they were to get there. He ended up not pitching game 4 of the ALCS. If you remember, there was the whole weather thing. So he's finally getting his chance on the biggest stage in a must-win game if you think about it, because they really don't want to go down 3-1. You know, you want it to be 2-2, force the best of 3. Urquidy comes out, pitches exactly how the Astros need him to. 5 innings, no earned runs. Believe he only gave up 2 hits, really stifled the bats. The Astros go on to win 8-1 behind another Robinson Chirinos home run, 2 in 2 games, and then Alex Bregman. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's MVP candidate this year. Hits a grand slam, drives in 5 in total in that game. So like I said, they go on to win that game 8-1. So you're starting to see a trend here. The Nationals lose 4-1. They lose 8-1. All right, let's get the offense going here. Game 5. Supposed to be Garrett Cole versus Max Scherzer 2.0. All right, we got a good one. Except Max Scherzer is dealing with back and neck spasms. Says he's in the worst pain of his life, so he's scratched from the start. So instead, the Nationals send out Joe Ross, and that's huge shoes to fill for anybody. And the Astros capitalize. They go on to win this game 7-1 behind a George Springer home run, Jordan Alvarez home run, Carlos Correa home run. Everybody was getting in on it. And the Nationals go down. They lose 3 in DC. So now they need to hold a team meeting going back to Houston, because Game 6 is going to be Justin Verlander against Steven Strasburg, and then Game 7 will be Zach Greinke against, bit of a question mark here. So if Max Scherzer is healthy, great. We're going to have an awesome pitching matchup for Game 7, a potential Game 7. I think that'd be really good for baseball, obviously. If not, could be Anibal Sanchez and Patrick Corbin kind of doing a, you know, tag team type duo against the Astros. I said the Astros were going to win in 6. I strongly believed that. Did not think it was going to be like this. Did not think they were going to lose the first 2. And obviously, I said, do not count out these Nationals. And even more so now than ever. Down 3-2, backs against the wall. This is when this team truly shines. But I'm going to stick with the Astros in 6. I think they're going to do a 4-game sweep here, which is insane because they looked less than stellar, I'll say, in games 1 and 2. Not necessarily that they looked terrible, but for the Nationals, you know, it sounds stupid to say, but taking those first 2 games in Houston, they really needed to slam the door shut in Washington, and they just couldn't do it. So it's basically what they did to the Cardinals. They won 2 in St. Louis, won the next 2 in Washington, didn't look back. They didn't do that, and now they have to go to unfriendly territory. But again, they did win the first 2 games here. They did beat Justin Verlander here. Anything can happen. So Game 6 will be tomorrow. Again, this could potentially decide it. Could be the Astros' second World Series title in 3 years, or Nationals could win, force it to a Game 7, and they could win their first World Series ever. So definitely is very exciting. The scores haven't been as close as I would have liked them. I'm all for, especially when my team's not in it. 9th inning, it's a 1-run game. Anything can happen. I'm a fan of that. Hasn't really been that except for Game 1. Every other game. Game 3 was 4-1, so it was kind of close. You kind of felt like the Nationals could strike at any moment, but Greinke got out of a couple of jams there too. So, but yeah, overall, hasn't been very close. 12-3, 8-1, 7-1. So hopefully the pitching matchup in Game 6 is good. And again, if the Nationals jump out to an early lead, sounds stupid to say, but if they can jump out, give Strasburg some run support, no doubt in my mind that they could win that game and force a Game 7. All right, that does it for Top Cheddar. Tomorrow, Brett will be here talking about all things Week 1 in the NBA, so that should be exciting. And my stupid mug will be back next Monday to talk about who's won the World Series. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to win. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and send Brett all my love.